Do you want more customers or clients? Of course you do. What small business owner doesn't want more customers or clients? Before you start marketing, you have to get a few foundational aspects of your business down pat. In fact, in my opinion, the foundational aspects will often make you more money than any amount of marketing ever will. Alex Mosey says, I will never not do the basics. And I agree with that. I will never not do the basics. When in doubt of what to do in your business, especially when we talk about attracting customers and growing and expanding, do the basics and do them better than anyone else. Today, I'm going to teach you how to find more clients. But before we do that real quick, my name is Ben Wiesenoff. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a small business advisor and certified executive coach. I help small business owners find $50,000 or more in lost or hidden profits inside their business, attract more clients and customers, and I do it all in 45 minutes or less without spending a single dollar on marketing or advertising. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the content. Now, if you see me looking down, those of you guys that ever watch any of my stuff, you know I kind of like a squirrel, a dog hunting squirrels. I just go all over. I go on tangents. So I'm going to look down at my notes, try to make sure I stay on point. I want to make these videos usually 5 to 10 minutes. Keep them simple, right? So this is kind of part one of a little series I'm going to do for you guys. Definitely stay tuned. But let's get to it. So before you start marketing, and the primary or the most important foundational aspects of any business is what I call the big three. You've got to know these big three things, right? The big three questions. And they are what, how, and who. Not necessarily in the order. Big three things are, what problem do you solve in the marketplace? What do you solve, right? What do you do? A lot of businesses, they just, I want to be a cupcake business. They go and they do like everybody else does. They rent a brick and mortar, they put a sign on the building, and they can't figure out why they aren't attracting customers. And they have awesome cupcakes. Well, the old adage of if you build it, they will come just simply doesn't work in small business anymore, whether it's brick and mortar or online marketing. You've got to have your foundational aspects down. So the first primary principle is, what problem do you solve? Second is, who do you solve it for specifically? You got to know exactly what you solve and who you solve it for. And the last one is, how do you solve it? So what, who, and how. How do you solve it? Now, once you know those three things, you can create what I call a USP and an MDP. USP is unique selling proposition. Think of that as your elevator pitch. And MDP is your market dominating position. So USP sets you apart, and more importantly, it tells you what you do and who you do it for, but not the how. Okay, the how is your MDP. It's your secret weapon as to why someone should do business with you over your competitors. What sets you apart? What's your market dominating position? So sometimes you'll create those before or after answering the big three questions, but usually they are all formed together because they influence one another. You'll build your entire business around these big three questions, your USP and your MDP. Let me give you a good example. So Domino's. Domino's came on the scene big in the 80s, and in less than a decade, they had 100 to 1,000 stores, maybe thousands of stores across the country nationwide, and they literally built $1 billion business overnight. Now, they didn't have the best pizza. They weren't necessarily the cheapest pizza in town. They didn't have the most spacious, luxurious seating areas with high-end ambience. In fact, most of them didn't have seating at all. But what they did have was a solid USP and a solid MDP that flowed from the big three. What was their USP? Well, if you're a little older like me, you already know what it is. For those of you that don't, their USP was hot and ready pizza in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. Okay? So today that's a fairly common thing, but back in the 80s that was unheard of, and they dominated the marketplace because of it. Their USP set them apart from everyone else and made them unique. But their MDP was they could deliver pizza to your doorstep, right? Now, how did this influence their big three questions and their business model? Well, they built their businesses around the USP, the MDP, and the big three, and here's how. The problem they identified in the marketplace, but we got to scroll down here, guys. The problem they identified in the marketplace was that in metropolitan areas or in cities in particular, college kids didn't have cars, and that's still true today. Most college kids don't have cars. They live on campus and they walk everywhere they go. But these college kids were hungry and they didn't want to walk, so they created a new and innovative solution to the problem. You don't have to come to us for food. We'll come to you. We'll deliver it right to your door. So that's the problem that they solved. And of course, who they solve it for specifically, hungry college kids. That's their USP. And how did they solve the problem? They innovated an entire industry and hired delivery drivers to bring the pizza in 30 minutes or less to their doorstep. That's their market dominating position. And they definitely dominated the market. Once they had the big three nailed down and the USP nailed down, all that stuff in place, they knew how to market their products and, more importantly, how to expand and build their businesses. They didn't build high-cost stores in rural areas. They opened small stores and strip centers near college campuses. Their entire business model revolved around their USP and their MDP. So you guys starting to understand kind of how the USP and MDP is very important when it comes to expanding your business and, of course, attracting more customers. So let me ask you a question. What's your USP? What's your MDP? Are you building and expanding your business around it specifically? If not, I promise you're missing out on attracting more customers and clients and probably wasting money on marketing. You're spending money where you don't need to, and you can't figure out why your marketing's not working well because you're not really nailed in on those big three, and you don't have a real legit USP or MDP. So in the next episode, I'm going to teach you the 80-20 rule and how it applies to small business owners, and importantly, how it applies to small business growth. So you can stop focusing on all the things that don't make you money or that don't help you grow your business, and you can start focusing on just the 20% that will help you achieve explosive small business growth. You're not going to want to miss it. If you want to make sure that you don't miss it, make sure you like, subscribe, and of course join our Facebook group. It's called Explosive Small Business Growth. You can just search for it. We also have a podcast which is called Explosive Small Business Growth. And you can also go to my website and get some free training there and download my book for free. It's also www.explosivesmallbusinessgrowth.com. Starting to sense a theme here. If you learned anything today, please do me a big favor though. Share this on your Facebook page. Share it with a friend or a group that would benefit from this small business advice. It really helps me out, really helps me spread the word. I appreciate each of you, and I hope that you learned at least one thing that'll help you achieve explosive small business growth.